Hello all. By popular request, I am making a couple of videos. This is one of two outlining the Ausdampf and Ausdampfverfahren methods of shooting. So as I said, this is the first of two videos, so this video will cover the Ausdampfverfahren. So you'll need a scientific calculator. That website there is a good place to start for that. I'm using NYGM's Outstanding Supermod along with Hitman's GUI for targeting. So I'm going to get into the torpedoes tutorial here and show you guys how to execute, first and foremost, the Ausdampfverfahren. So this would be the method of maintaining a constant bearing to the target and being able to shoot and hit a target without having to estimate course or speed of the target, and with just estimating a real rough range, so for purposes of the general angle. So first and foremost here, I will go ahead and go to the scope, put the scope up, get an idea of which target I'm going to acquire. And for this, I'm going to shoot submerged. I'm going to target the large, that C2 cargo right there. I'm going to increase my speed to about 4 or 5 knots. Now, in reality, of course, you wouldn't typically shoot at that speed with your scope up in real life, or I should say maybe in a campaign. But just for purposes of this tutorial and achieving a constant bearing to that target, I'm going to increase my speed and turn maybe 30 degrees or so to try to achieve that constant bearing. So I'm speed up a little bit here, and as you can see, using Stiebler's hard-coded fixes, or HC's hard-coded fixes, that scope will blur out if your speed is too high. So I bump my speed down a little bit to about 4 knots. Get a constant bearing to that guy, so make a couple of tweaks. Course tweak there. And I apologize about the music. I'm using EasyVid, and there's really no way around that, so hopefully that's not too distracting. Okay, make a couple of fine course adjustments here. Get that guy in a constant bearing. Almost there. Course and speed adjustments a little bit. I know my tutorial and my thread set to keep a constant bearing of about 15 minutes. That's probably overkill. You can actually get by with much less than that, as you'll be able to see here. Alright, so I think we're there. I've got the constant bearing. Note the bearing. So that would be 70 degrees. It's 360 minus 290, so 70 degrees. I've got about 3.5 knots of speed. So I'm going to pause the game. You really don't need to pause it, but just for instructional purposes, I'm going to pause the game. I think I'm at 69.5 there degrees from the bow. So I'm going to say, okay, 3.5 knots is my own speed times the sine of 69.5 degrees, the bearing, equals 3.3 knots. That's the speed of the target to input into the TDC. So I'll go ahead and unpause here. I'm going to open the TDC. I'm going to switch it to input. I'm going to go ahead and set angle and bow to 90 degrees starboard, because his bow is pointing to the right. Set his speed to the calculated speed of 3.3 knots, thereabouts. Alright. Switch my TDC back to update again, or off I should say. Now I'm going to get the range. Now, Hitman's GUI, you get the range, really, you don't have the AOB finder, and so you range in the AOB finder, so you just get the range over the reticle marks in the scope here. And so I know he's about 22 meters high, and he's just right around 20 mark there, so he's just over 1,000 yards away, or meters away, so I'm going to put that in there. That's a rough estimate. That's all you need. Go ahead and set up my eels. I'll shoot from tube 1. I'll open that tube. I'm going to set it to fast. I've opened the tube now, double check my settings, and shoot. And for instructional purposes, I will follow that torpedo to see how we do here. So off it goes. I'll speed up the time a little bit here. In the interest of time is probably valuable, and so I don't waste time here just watching the water. Alright, so here she goes. I think we're clearly going to hit here. Now we shot at the funnel. Let's see, it looks like we're probably going to hit a little abaft of the funnel. And actually, you know what, I think that torpedo underran the target, which again is another wonderful addition of the HC hard-coded fixes, is that torpedo unreliability becomes a real issue here, but we know theoretically that we would have hit that target, and so for purposes of this we know that that worked. And so I'm going to stop the ticking, and let's just demonstrate just another more difficult shot here. This guy here, significantly farther away, we're going to use the same method to shoot at him. Now he's at an unfavorable impact angle there, being that he's headed away from us, but let's see what we can do here. So I'll go ahead and adjust my course and speed again to get a constant bearing to him. There we go, we're blurring out again here at high speed. Alright. Get him. Now you can see he's much farther away. Even at 6 magnification, he's still a considerable distance away. This would be typically considered an unfavorable shot. But we'll see what we can do here. Constant bearing to him. Just a little tweaking. Just a couple of little tweaks here. I think we're good there. Alright, we've got note our bearing, note our speed, pause. We're at about 54 degrees from the bow there with his bearing. So about 4.2 knots. Input that times the sine of 54 degrees gives us 3.4 knots to input into the TDC. Again, we're going to use a 90-degree angle on the bow because his bow is pointing to the starboard because his bow is pointing to the right. I'm going to set that speed to the calculated speed of 3.4 or so. And now I got to get a range estimate to fix parallax. Now this is difficult, right? Because he's so far away, you know, at 1.5 magnification, it's difficult to get the range here. But I could probably safely assume that it's about. I know he's about 22, 23 meters tall. That's about 10. So if I divide that out, 22 divided by 10, multiplied by 100, I end up getting just over 2,000 meters, and so I'll go ahead and update that there. Switch my TDC, set up the shot, fast, open the tube, and then make sure I'm on my aiming point, and go ahead and fire. Alright, following the torpedo. Whoa. Alright, following the torpedo, he's a little farther away. It'll take a little longer to get there, so I'll use some time compression to speed it up a little bit here. I'm actually recording this recording my voice after having recorded this video, so I'm trying to synchronize it as best I can. That's another function of EasyVid. It's a great tool here, but it's a little awkward to record after the fact here. Alright, so here we go. Yeah, we may hit a little aft of him, but we are still going to hit him. It's just going to be right on the stern. Again, that's a function of funky angle and relatively large distance, but we still hit him. So I feel like that's a decent demonstration of this method. So that being said, the next video I will make will be of the Ausdampfverfahren, so that would be the change of bearing. This was the constant bearing method, so hopefully that was helpful. So I will see you all in the next installment.